Hey everybody, and welcome back to Susquehanna River Valley. It is midwinter. We've got some odd jobs to do. Specifically, we've expanded our operations. How's everybody doing this afternoon? A little impromptu mid-afternoon live stream. GoldenEye, welcome. We're just coming back from hauling a load of compost. Oh, fall harvest. Zach, what is up? While you're slaving away, I'll be here. Hopefully earn some moolah. Rabbit Rob, Will. We've got a combination of blue and green today. Everything goes to plan. We're going to be selling all our corn. That's over 500,000 liters of corn. We'll be running some more manure down here to the compost plant. And we have silage we're going to get rid of. We have acquired biogas plant, because we needed some way of getting rid of over 1 million liters of silage. And I have somehow managed to accumulate over the last 3 years. Who'd have thought you didn't need near that much silage in order to make mixed rations on this map. And our cows, well, they really don't eat that much anyway. Well, when you got a whole lot of ears, a bucking ear goes a long way. Tell you, I was a little worried I'd be late to my own show. About 20 minutes ago, I was still at the grocery store. I had somebody in front of me that must have been the slowest person ever. They didn't even have a full cart. They had like a 3/4 empty cart. But apparently, they were shopping for 3 people and had to run through each transaction individually. And then they finally get to their transaction. And then they want to write out a check. Like with your hand. It's like, sign the thing and give it to the woman. The machine will print it for you. No, well, I mean, I wouldn't say elderly. I would say she was maybe older than me, but then again, I ain't no spring chicken. Speaking of chicken, I did manage to scarf down some fried chicken. for the stream. What's a check? Well, a check is that thing that's on the side of your Nike, although they call it a swoosh. Not bad payday. That's like 80. That's nearly $90,000 in compost. Well, about the amount of time it took, I think she lost the art too. It's like, did you have to watch a YouTube video on how to write a check? To give you an idea of how slow this payment transaction was, I started to load the belt when all of her items were off the belt, right? I didn't put the little spacer out. I just waited until everything was done because I had a overflowing cart. I unloaded my entire cart on the belt before she was done paying. That was crazy. All right, let's use the fabulous fill level limiter. Right alt, L, right alt L. We want to set the fill level. Oh, come on. Right alt L. To 50,000. Because we're going to haul some silage. Down to the BGA. Get it running while we come up here and do some other stuff. Diablo del Toro, welcome. Thanks for dropping by. Get out there and do some family stuff. Thank you for limiting my fill level. Fill level limiter script. I still like to pay. I like to pay bills that way. I like to mail them off and pay bills that way. I'm not a big fan of auto draft bill payment. But at a store, no way. It's just card all the way. I do have to say that every time I go to the store, I get so surprised at what is not there. It's like, are you really? You don't have any of that? What? So today it was like a total run on Chef Boyardee canned products. Like, there were two things that were there. Two Chef Boyardee canned products were there. Overstuffed ravioli and lasagna, which I never had. I have no idea what that would even taste like. And I think everyone else never had it either because there were cases and stuff. Nothing else. No other Chef Boyardee product on any shelf. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Susquehanna River Valley. And today is a big day. Today, as you can see from the Farm Sim, a double deuce countdown. 50 days to go. 5-0. The big old half century. Seems like we started this countdown. It was like 90 some days. 98 days maybe. Seems like when we started this countdown. We have now counted down halfway from where we started. Monday, it'll be just 7, right? 7 weeks on a Monday. So Farm Sim Double Deuce comes out. Let's talk. Let's talk about Forestry Fact Sheet Friday. What did y'all think of the forestry themed fact sheets? I don't have to tell you that I thought that the Raptor and the mulching attachment was probably the coolest thing of those fact sheets, in my opinion. IMO. But I do know that I think some Europeans were really cooled up about the Gens Cobra. I think they just get a little hot under the collar for anything man truck. Now, it was all expensive stuff for sure, right? Go big or don't do forestry. That was the theme of this week's fact sheets, but overall, I mean, a really big, interesting, self-propelled crane / wood chipper in the Gens Cobra. It looks like the Ponzi Scorpion King is being retired for the Ponzi Cobra. We had a pair of Cobras. Oh, left off. We want to set that back to 120,000 liters. I did see the Kinsey planters on the Giants website. There was a green planter too, but it was, in my opinion, overshadowed by the pair of Kinseys. There are several other items added to the website. So if you go to the farmingsimulator.com website and you click on games at the top, you'll be taken to a page where it talks about Farm Sim 22. But at the very bottom, of the screen, is basically a table of brands. And if you click on any of those brands, it will show you equipment at the bottom. And that gets updated every Friday after Fact Sheet Friday drops. So the stuff that's in the fact sheets gets added, as well as lots of other stuff. So you should make a habit of basically tolling through there and seeing what strikes your fancy is being added from the previous week. The what's the Perroth? The Perroth Raptor has been added for forestry, and it looks like the mulcher will basically remove shrubbery and undergrowth because it looked like behind the mulcher was a nice wide swath of rich dark dirt earth. That's what I wanted to say. Rich dark earth. So it looks like we'll be able to clear our forests and make fields with this mulcher. It's unclear if this thing will also do stump grinding, but there is an attachment that was also added to the website listing for the Paroth brand that looked like it had some other attachment that may be a stump grinder. It's hard to tell by the angle of the image or the graphic, but the Paroth may have a stump grinder attachment also, or it might be some sort of ground ripper on the back end. Who knows? Maybe it's a plow on the back end of that thing. Great demand at the pallet sell point. Too bad we don't have any pellets. Well, none I want to sell. Then we had the Scorpion King's, I guess, bigger brother, the Cobra, in the Ponzi tree harvester. We had a New Holland at T8. The T8 Genesis line is going to be in game, and it really had some really interesting tires. It was kind of like a hybrid between the Nokian Communal and the typical Trelleborg style ribbing on the tire tread. It was like tractor ribbing that was knobby. Gizmo, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Discord. HS, I saw you join in there. And that was paired up with something that we really couldn't see in a pull behind wood chipper that also had its own little storage behind it. So, wish we could have seen more of that particular little wood chipper. And then, of course, the big Gens Cobra truck mounted wood chipper. Sure to make quick work of pretty much any forested area. Now, this weekend is Hero Fest in Sweden. I don't know where it is. Mr. Swede, what's up? And Hero Fest is where Giants is currently at, and they've got, from what I understand, some kiosks set up where visitors can get some hands-on time with Farm Sim 22. So that has got to be exciting if you are lucky enough to be able to go to Hero Fest. You guys need to come over here to the States. It is mid-80s and sunny here. In fact, it's a bit warmer today than it has been for the last few days. Well, HS, I pre-ordered Forza yesterday, actually. I'm all ready. All ready. Now, since we're on the topic of Forza, I put a message in Discord. You'll find it if you scroll up a little bit, about the system requirements for Forza Horizon 5. The minimum requirements are pretty minimal. Pretty minimal. The recommended requirements are pretty minimal. When you think about it, the ideal system requirements, oh my god. the ideal system requirements are insane. Absolutely insane. So, on the AMD side, they were really cool. They put AMD spec and Intel's NVIDIA spec. It was pretty cool. So, the ideal system requirements, and some of this is from memory. A Ryzen 3800X. That's a 12-core... No, that's an 8-core, 16-thread CPU. Or on the Intel side, a Intel 10900 something. Okay, that's an 8-core, 16-thread CPU. On the graphics card side, this again is ideal. Okay, this is well above recommended. The ideal graphics card on the AMD side was a 6800 XT. I think it's an XT. 6800X for sure. On the NVIDIA side, it was a 3080. Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Ideally, if you had a 3080. 16 gigs of system memory. And it looks like it's going to take 110 gigs of disk space to install this bad boy. So I hope your internet's up to it. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to preload the game or not, but get ready for a 110 gig install. So the recommended system requirements were like an AMD 1300 or Ryzen 1300 or something, and a like an NVIDIA 1070 GPU. That was recommended. So it is quite a leap from recommended to ideal. But yeah, that's going to drop, what, November 8th? November 5th, depending on the pre-order. I think if you got it from Game Pass, I think you get it on the 5th. Yeah, I was like shocked when I saw the ideal settings. I mean, I've got a 3900X AMD, so I'm set on the ideal CPU. I've got a 2080 Super, so I'm not really set on the ideal GPU. I'm close, but not there. But such a leap. Such a leap from 1070 to 3080. I think the minimum specs were like a 960. Yeah, there's definitely ray tracing in the game. I mean, I think recommended is Recommended is, in my opinion, a little under maybe what the Series X spec is when it's all said and done. I mean, you figure this thing's built for Series X, Series S. That spec itself has to be somewhere between recommended and ideal. I'm sure there'll be plenty of knobs and switches on the graphics side to adjust things. But boy, she's a looker. Yeah, Hero Fest. I'm surprised maybe we'll see some. Maybe there are already some videos from folks who've been able to go to Hero Fest to screen record or maybe phone record their gameplay off the kiosks. From what I understand, it is the same build as Gamescom. So don't expect any new revolutionary reveals. So today's plan is to sell our corn, keep selling silage down at the BGA. I don't know how long it's going to take to run through 50,000 liters at 1x speed. And then we're also going to need to move some manure down to the compost heap. And, well, that is about it. Not a lot going on today. Midwinter. This will probably be the only winter stream we do at this point. We don't have anything to do in late winter. All of our fields are planted. I think we could probably put some herbicide in. So if we run out of stuff to do today, we'll put some herbicide down on our grass fields, and I think we need to do that on the a couple of the other big fields. Uh-oh. Why did you do that? How do you make the straw swaths too wide? Or did you like rake in a bunch of straw together? See what we get. I was going off about the 3080 last time. I didn't see what we got. Ed, what's up? Speaking of that, this video is brought to you by CBW Farms LLC. Thank you for being a farm baron. $67,000 a load. Not bad at all. You could be a little profitable doing that. Yeah, that's right. Big old ka-ching. Cookies, Mr. Moneybags. I don't know if you saw, but I saw ATS got an update yesterday. Looked like it was another 80-some megs. So I wonder if they patched the not able to repair thing in the beta platform. We'll be running another modded convoy Monday night for sure. I think everybody's hoping that the K100 gets updated to support the baited modded convoy. I don't know who's got all this straw on the ground, but they best get on here and get it collected. We got good weather, but it's not going to hold out forever. Oh, is there a changelog listing somewhere? So let me say this. I discovered this last night. I didn't know anything about it. How many of you are Amazon Prime members? Raise your hand. Ed, that's my goal for a real nice image. Not to be overbearing with the audio. I even got some mic clipping, so if I get overexcited and go, ah! It doesn't blow you out of the water. So, I had no idea until I was watching a video last night. If you're an Amazon Prime customer, apparently they give away games every month to Amazon Prime people. Just give them out to you like candy. Like, congratulations, you've paid for Amazon Prime. You get free games. And this month, October, one of those free games is Star Wars Squadrons. Fairly recent title. And it's redeemed over at, I think, Origin. So it's one of those, it's not even tied to your Amazon account once you redeem it. So once you redeem it over on Origin, it's yours forever, regardless of your status with Amazon Prime. I had two more. I put them in, I put it in the Discord. I don't remember the titles. One was on Epic. I already had the Epic one, because Epic had offered it free at some point in the past. And then one was redeemed over at GOG, Good Old Games. There was a bunch of other titles in there I never heard of, but those were the three specifically that seemed to be redeemed off platform. Yeah, Ghost Runner was one of them, and the other was, I don't remember what the epic one was, but at any rate, maybe if you're an Amazon customer, you don't know about that. And there you go, there's another benefit. I signed up with my work email. It's an educational address, so I got a nice discount. So if you have access to an EDU email, use that, it'll be cheaper. Let's go two-wheeling. And did I miss a super chat somewhere? If I missed a super chat, I want to apologize for that. Maybe it came in during the pre-show and I didn't see it because we don't have notifications turned on during the pre-show. Jonathan Hoover, what is up? And Liverbird Gaming, how are you doing today? Okay. Well, thank you so much. HNS, let's give everybody a big old round of applause. And if I'm remembering the comments right, which is a pretty far stretch, you see I posted the upcoming videos for next week for members, so you'll be able to check out the Fellsburn Revisited and the Griffin, Indiana. See how we do in summer. Oh, it gets hard. It's hard waiting patiently, isn't it? I mean, gosh, all this great news coming out. What did you think, Jonathan, of the forestry fact sheets yesterday? We were starting to talk about those in the pre-show, and right as soon as the stream started. You didn't catch them, oh my. Well, we had a forestry themed fact sheet Friday yesterday. The Jens Cobra, that is the big self-propelled wood chipper, the wood chipper on the back of a truck. That was in the fact sheet. We also had a New Holland T8 Genesis tractor with really cool knobby looking tires. We had a pull behind wood chipper that also has a little bit of trailer to it so it can store its wood chips. That was attached to the New Holland. Then we had a new Ponzi. We had the Ponzi Cobra. So we had a pair of Cobras actually yesterday. We had the Ponzi Cobra, and that looks like it's going to be replacing the Scorpion King. Looks like that's going to be retired after 3 game versions, I think. So pretty sure it was in DLC of FS15. Then it was in 17 and then 19. And then we had a new piece of machinery in a Paroth, I think it's Paroth Raptor. It was a tracked forestry vehicle that has an attachment point in the front that you can attach a mulcher to it. And it looked like the mulcher allows you to basically remove foliage and get back to a create field state. Oh, so the Scorpion King goes way back then. Tristan the Man, welcome to the stream. I know, Ed, that's what I mentioned in the fact sheet. We can see, obviously, it rotates when you are in crane mode, but it would be really cool if it rotated with the claw, just like kind of the oh man, what was that new brand? What was that new brand that just came out, the forestry stuff, the blue stuff? I remember it in the fact sheet, but now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I know, doesn't it? Yeah, that's an awesome brand to be brought in. You know, the week before we saw the silage leveler, aka snow groomer. Yeah, Rotney. Yeah, the Rotney stuff, you know. The cab rotates with the cutting head so that they're in sync. It'll be really cool if the cab rotates on the gens to keep it in sync with the claw, because I didn't see any other lights on the truck. So that would be that the lights from the cab are the only thing lighting up the work area. Now there's at least one other Mac coming to the game. We talked about it earlier. If you go to the farmingsimulator.com website, you click on games, and then that's the listing for Farm Sim 22. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a whole bunch of brands listed. And in that, if you click on the Mac brand, you'll see the Mac that we all know about is listed, and then there's another coming soon. So there's at least one more Mac truck that we don't know about. It was good to see the coming soon get added back to the Dutes brand. Initially, it didn't have a coming soon. It was just the harvester that we saw earlier. So it's good to see that now it has a coming soon listing. We saw the 2 Kinsey planters. We talked about those earlier in the pre-show. They showed up. So we're going to get 2 Kinsey planters for you questionable tasting people that are into John Deere stuff. A big John Deere planter was also added to the listing. Well, one thing, Jonathan, is that with Mac being officially a brand in game, it opens up modding. Anything that's not included in the game could always be added by an adventurous modder Yeah, Zach, I don't really know much about the mulchers. I mean, if you look that one mulcher up that was part of the fact sheet, you'll see videos of it basically, I mean, just decimating a stump and just completely clearing, you know, all kinds of stuff. But if we'll be able to use it as a stump grinder in FS22, I don't know. It definitely looks like we'll be able to use it to clear land and enable create fields, because if you look behind the parath on the fact sheet, in fact, I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up when we're filling up the corn. I'll pull it up, and you can see behind it some nice dark earth, fresh earth. There we go. Oops. Oh, give me a momento. Pull up my fact sheet archive. Okay, look at this thing. So look here behind it. That is clearly a path of cleared dirt. So we can see it tossing up particles. It is clearing a path. Is that a log? Could this be a log I didn't notice earlier? So maybe it does wood chip and clear foliage, because clearly behind it, that is clear dirt. Right? And look here, we got eyelets. I'm wondering if these eyelets are going to be able to be used to strap it down. You know, they enhance the strapping on flatbeds. When you strap down a pallet, you can see your capacity listed, you know, like if you had it at a fill level. I wonder if they now have allowed you, because man, how many people have ever asked, why can't I strap down a vehicle on a flatbed? Well, we've got modeled loops. Maybe we can strap it. Yeah, this thing that thing looks cool. And then we had our Ponzi Cobra. Mid-cut. Cutting logs. I mean, look at this forest floor. They did a really good job with the forest floor. And the forest behind it looks really nice and dense. We've got different types of trees, different size trees in here. The undergrowth going on. I think this is the best looking forest that we've seen out of any Giants map. Oh, that is my favorite tire tread right there. I don't know what it is. I tried to adjust the contrast to see if I could read the branding on this tire, but I couldn't. I couldn't figure out what kind of brand tire it was. But man, that tire tread looks awesome. Then this is the small pull behind chipper that holds some wood chips. But again, look at this forest here, back here on this hillside. Really nice, dense looking forest. And then our Cobra, our Jen's Cobra. We saw this in the gameplay trailer where it was driving across a railroad track, and now we see it here in action. Really awesome details on the wood chipper. But if you look, I don't see any lights anywhere. Maybe this might be a light, but I don't see any light. I mean, that might be a light that's shining here on the trailer. You know, there's no lights on this boom arm that you can see. There's no lights on the side. The only lights I see are over here on the cab. So I wonder if the cab rotates with the boom, with the grapple, like the Rodney cab rotates with the cutting head. Or if we'll be able to rotate the cab independent of this boom. Oh, there's our big New Holland again. And those are the fact sheets. Without any fact to the sheet. Let me go check. Alright, so we're halfway through our silage. Halfway through the silage. Alright, we got 1.5 loads. Basically 2 more trips to town to sell our corn. Jonathan, are you talking about the Paroth? What are we? Or are you talking about a Mac R? I know, right? When I got those fact sheets Thursday afternoon, I was like, oh my. Like I said in the script, the bringer of doom. The master of disaster. The purveyor of evil. The Paroth Raptor. But at 4 miles an hour, just take a brisk walk and you can run away from it. So yeah, you definitely want to be putting it on a flatbed to get it to the to wherever you're taking it. Well, I mean, if you want to call it the Devil of Doom, then you can. I said purveyor of doom. I mean, devil and doom seem to go hand in hand. Yeah, if you haven't seen my fact sheet videos, please go ahead and check them out. I try to do a little bit more than just read off the speeds and feeds. Yeah, like the T8. The T8 is perfect to not only work all day in the field. Yeah, the harbinger of doom. That would be great, Ed. If I was such a eloquent speaking person, I could have had that. But yeah, the T8, you not only work in the field all day, you can clean it up and take your best lady down to a barn dance at night with it. Oh, this thing has no brakes. Yeah, I thought the Proth was like, oh. But if you go to the website and you look under the Proth brand, you'll see, of course, the silage leveler from the other week. We'll see the Raptor, and you'll see two attachments. You'll see the mulcher, and then you'll see something else. And I don't know what that other attachment is. It might be like a ground ripper, or it might be a stump grinder. Really don't have a good angle on the graphic to really make out what it does or what it could be. I think the other way's faster. We don't have as steep of an incline. Hello, Rabbit Rob. I like to knock in communals. I like to equip those on a tractor if I'm only ever doing it for like grass work. I don't know. It just reminds me of like a big grass tractor tire. That's what I thought. It looked kind of like a stump grinder, which made me worry that the mulcher then wouldn't grind stumps. But it really looks like in that fact sheet, now that I look at it again, looks like there's a log there that it is chewing up. Here we go, another $60,000 in the bank. $67,000 to be exact. Yeah, seeing I was more excited about the background in those forestry pictures than some of the forestry machines myself. Just to see how nice the background trees and kind of forested area look. Yeah, no, we're gonna get maybe another 50 grand with the next load, I hope. Well, 70, probably another 45,000. I think we're going to get some of the new trees. You know, they added new trees to Erlengrot. So I think we're going to get the Erlengrot trees. There's definitely new trees on the French map that are different than the trees on the American map. I think all of those screenshots were taken on Elm Creek. Myself, you can see kind of a concrete grain elevator off in the background in the first fact sheet over on the right, and the rest of the fact sheets kind of have the same general feel. You can see some American looking buildings behind the Paroth also. So I think all of those were based on Elm Creek. No, it's like a big elevator, grain elevator. Those big concrete silos at the grain elevators. Yeah, and I also noticed that some of in the first image with the gens wood chipper, it looked like the grasses on the ground maybe were different shades of color also, like maybe some brownish grass and some greener grass. Zach, for sure, for sure. That'll definitely help. Now, what I don't know is, we know it can be added to, yeah, it can be added to the buildings. Because during the FarmCon presentation, there was a demonstration where he talked about in the Giants editor that you could basically, a checkbox, you could check a box basically saying that it would occlude, you know, it would block your vision if it was between you and something. So, you know, any machinery stored on the other side of that silo just wouldn't render it because, well, there's no need for it. You can't see it, so why render it? So why render anything on the back of this silo? You know, all these trees that are back there wouldn't be rendered until you could see them. Thor, welcome to the stream. How you doing? Sunday morning for you. That is the theory, Zach. That is the theory. If the door is shut. If the door to the building is shut. Which would require the modder, if it was a modded building, to have basically added the occlusion, I guess, attribute to the doors. If the building isn't properly modded, let's say, and the occlusion attribute is not added to the doors, then no, it wouldn't. The doors would, I guess, be seen through the occlusion system as basically being transparent. Stewie Gaming, is that right? Stewie Gaming, welcome to the stream. How are you doing this fine afternoon, evening, morning, depending on where you are in the world? Taking our last load of corn to the sell point. Owen Farms, welcome to the stream. It'll take some time, Ed, for modders to catch on. I mean, there's still modders that aren't catching on to FS19. That are still pumping things out the old way. And you can kind of tell. Although, I mean, the bulk of them have moved over to the UDEM stuff for vehicles and such. But there's still a lot of map makers that haven't fully embraced the whole different play modes. And, you know, in Farm Manager, in theory, you don't own land, you don't own machinery, you don't own buildings. We see plenty of maps still that have everything pre-built exactly how it was back in 17 and before. We see them where they don't have the ability to sell anything at the farm. Maps where they really don't have any provision for placing anything. Almost in your face of the new game style introduced in 19. So it'll take some time, and there will definitely be maps that will perform less optimally because they aren't set up right. And how much will Giants be basically in enforcing or checking on that is hard to say. Now, we had a real interesting map get dropped on Thursday, actually. I was busy Thursday, and I didn't even think to check about mods until Friday. But the Pioneer map, that looks pretty interesting. That is a No Man's Land-esque map based in South America. So you have some more tropical, like, trees and buildings and such. You also have sorghum, red beans, and rice actually added as additional crops. Rice straw is also a product, it appears. And just like No Man's Land, you buy quadrants of land and clear the land and make your fields and, well, just make the farm and map however you want it. It does have a bit more clearing of trees than No Man's Land. But a pretty interesting premise, nonetheless. Oh, it's not keeping up with my income today, for whatever reason. I want to see how much money we made off of compost and corn, but it's not showing up. But I'm pretty sure we started the stream around 1.6 million. Upper 1.5 million. Or 1.85. All right, let's go scoop some poo. Feed that compost. So, Streamlabs has put up a link to FS22's giveaway. We're going to be giving away a copy of Farm Sim 22 on October 22nd. If you play on PC and are interested in maybe picking up a free copy of Farm Sim 22, then go ahead and enter the drawing. We've already given away 2 copies of FS22 in August and September. And we'll be giving away 2 more copies in October and on launch day, November 22nd. It is a Giants eShop copy, so it is limited to PC players only. Russ, the gardener. Welcome to the stream. Glad we could improve your Saturday afternoon. It's pretty good weather over here. Surprised you're not out in the garden, Russ. Speaking of on the sauce, what's everybody planning to have for dinner? I still have to make dinner plans. I'm curious what others are going to have. Maybe I'll piggyback on what you all are doing. Oops. We'll fill that up. Bandit, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Much appreciated. Where? Oh, there it is. Where's my telly? Trying my side panel joystick as opposed to mouse. I was trying to figure it out. Went to the store right before the stream, bought a bunch of stuff. So we should have pretty good options on food for the next week or week and a half. Just looking for some inspiration. So if you haven't checked out the video for the Pioneer map, that is the No Man's Land-esque South America map that is in the channel in the First Impressions playlist, which I think is up to 309 map videos for Farm Sim 22. We also did a new and noteworthy video on the placeable farm that came out earlier in the week by Bernie SCS. I thought it was a really interesting concept. And much to my surprise, it was pretty easy to set up and lay out. I think during the recording of that video, I managed to place the farm 3 times. I did it once before I recorded, just to see how it worked. And then I recorded the whole video once, and I didn't like how it turned out, so then I did it all over again. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with FS22. It does seem like they have picked the check boxes of a lot of things that have been player requests for quite a while. Let me look. Let me look here. Weed. Let's check the weed status. We got weeds. Weeds on our grass field. And we got weeds on our big fields, right? Yep. Alright. Those of you that do wheel loader work, do you do it with a joystick, mouse and keyboard, or controller? I'd be curious. Zona Disco, I don't have a clue what you just put in there. Oh no! Boar is lost in the woods. He never came back from the heist. Oh, we had a new TLX truck show up in the mod hub. I was going to do a video on it, but I don't know. Honestly, I didn't like it as much as this one. I felt the suspension was just not right. It seemed to be awful stiff, the suspension. Just in general driving. I mean, it had really great suspension travel. But all the configurations I tried, it drove really weird. It drove really, really weird. So I decided that since I really didn't have a lot of good things to say about it, that I would just leave it be. Well, I mean, I tried these tires. I tried off-road tires with the jacked suspension, and it just was like I drove over the tire over the railroad tracks on Ravenport, and like the whole truck just like shimmied. And I've got other areas around the map that have been kind of roughened up as a result of placing things. So I tried to drive over those, and it drove very stiff. So Flora uses a mouse, GoldenEye uses a controller. You know, the map author of this map, he actually uses 2 controllers to do everything. Uses controllers to steer, drive. Not controllers, joysticks, sorry. Uses 2 joysticks to do everything. Lucky 7. Now we are all lucky that you have had a chance to come into the stream. Any college football on today? All right, so this should make another 130,000 liters of compost. So that's another $60,000-$70,000. Magical teleporting cows. Oh no, rain. Rain while watching someone's football game is no good. No good. How much straw do we have in ours? 680,000 liters of straw. Okay. $25-0. Oh my gosh. Did the other team show up? Just put a beating to him. Amazing. DXB, welcome. Thanks for subscribing. Hopefully you won't regret it. That's what I want to say. We got a substorm. Substorm. Purple X, thanks for subscribing. And Happy Romania, thanks for subscribing. Redneck Feller, are you any relation to Cowboy Killer? Steven Joseph. Dude who I can't pronounce. And Irresponsible Productions. All of you, much obliged. A round of applause for all of these people. Real or not, for joining the channel. We're going to be hitting 26,500 subs soon. And then it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to 27,000. Eric the Crazy Viking, welcome. How is everything going today? Don't get crazy and don't go crazy on me. All right, let's go get some herbicide so we can put some weed killer down on our fields. Well, I'm glad that the Crazy Viking is not angry crazy. thank you for dropping a like. And remember, quote number 7. Anybody want to do explanation quote 7 for me? Remember, if you don't like the video, be sure to hit that thumbs down twice, just to make sure that it knows you don't like the video. We'd hate for it to recommend you another video, so pound it twice. Double down. There's Carrie. Christian, thanks for the sub. Later, Gizmo. Thanks for dropping by. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now it's a great time to do some under frame maintenance. We only drive one way, and that is the pedal to the floor. Trailer periodically gets caught on something. Oh. Ah, double pitcher of mead. Why not? They almost picked up a 12-pack of Yingling Porter with Hershey's. That looked good. Nearly did it, but then I was like, nah, let's be good. Let's be good. Oh, Carrie, you still have that tree up there. Tree's still floating. High on life, that tree is. Oh! Alright, herbicide. Give me some herbicide. We don't want any spilling out. Oh. Hey, GoldenEye with the jokes today. It's hard to believe this truck has 34 hours on it. We have spent a fair bit of time driving around with this truck. I don't know, Ed. Why did the farmer sell off all his cows? Oh, it was an utter failure. Oh. That was so good it was bad. There is Carrie again. Uh-oh. Disaster on the interstate. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Well, I guess we're just go the wrong way. If we could stay off this guardrail. Oh, we'll just pretend we're in the UK. Driving on the wrong side of the road. Dang, that guardrail. Just come out and bite you. Aaron Stanek, welcome to the stream. Glad you could get a hold of us. Don't mind me, I'm just going the wrong way. Is it an on-ramp or an off-ramp? Well, it just depends on which direction you're traveling. There we go. I am right now, yes, Lucky 7. Not having the best of luck with the wheel today. This is the road I want. The trailer is not helping matters much. Oh, birds through the windshield. I tell you one thing I'm super stoked about FS22 is the deer. For sure. For sure, for like the first weeks. I'm gonna be like, oh, look, there's deer. It'll be like all those city folk that come out to the country. And And every time they see a deer, they have to stop and point it out. It's like, yes, okay, I get it. They're like everywhere. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? I need to put this down here. I need to stage this. Where are we at? That's what I want. All right, off. To get more. This time a bit slower. I'd say we take what we can get, right? I mean, we don't need too much wildlife. Sometimes I think the spawn rate on the deer could, or on the birds could be turned down a bit. I know some people really don't like the birds. The birds are for the birds. Well, you don't know. They might, something might eat your corn. Right? We still might have blight. You never know. Now, earlier we were talking about free games from Amazon Prime. Right now, over on Steam, they have their Steam Next Fest, and the Next Fest is something that is going on until October 7th. And what it is they are basically premiering a whole bunch of upcoming titles, upcoming games with playable demos. So go check out the Next Fest over at Steam if you're looking for something to play. There is a bevy of playable demos over there. Everything is categorized, broken down into various genres. So you're sure to find something, hopefully, to wet your whistle. Oh, well, if we're going to have rats, we need to have cats. Because there's no better way to get rid of rats than with cats. Call out the cat patrol. So, speaking of escort, something we realized the other day, last Thursday, when we were doing a modded ATS convoy live stream, we could have escorts now in ATS during convoys. We could find escort vehicles that were modded in and worked with the convoy mode update, and some people could buy escort vehicles and they could escort big, long, heavy loads. That'd be cool. Now, the reason I didn't just load up from the trailer we just filled up with is because, well, we're going to need to at least refill this thing at least one more time anyway. If not 2 more times, so... might as well get everything full of herbicide. Dookie needs a lot of escorts. But, you know, he's driving with a keyboard and mouse. Well, a keyboard, I guess. No, they didn't add escort vehicles to the base game. We'd have to get a mod. We'd have to get a modded escort vehicle. And then with the 1.42 beta, we can do modded escorts in convoy. We just have to find one that works with the update. And this would be our exit. You see, we drove down here a lot better than we did with the truck. If we set the cruise on the truck to something like 60, it's not that bad to drive. Yep. So back we go. You see a fair bit of Colossus coming back to the game in FS22. They've already released a large amount of loss information. There goes Kerry. He's coming over to the ethanol plant. He's making a whole boatload of money off of corn syrup, which is corn and water, and then run it through the corn syrup production. The Germans are loving what? They're loving what? H&S $5 super chat. To speculate on animal changes a bit, please. All right, well, let's talk. Let's guesstimate. So one thing we know for a fact is food requirements seem to be changing up. Colossus. Well, it's very Colossi. It's very Colossi. So we know food requirements are changing up a bit, at least with cows, because of this new concentrate fill type. So one of the earlier fact sheets had a new brand in FARSIN, FARSIN, I think, or FHAR, something like that. And they had a TMR mixer, and listed in the fill types was this new fill type, which we've later learned is named concentrate. So there's been some speculation as to what concentrate might be. It might be some sort of mineral additive, nutrients. We've seen it listed in trailers as a fill type, so we know it is something that can be filled in bulk. We haven't seen anything with respect to how we buy concentrate, or if we can make concentrate. I had a little rogue kind of just shot in the dark speculation that concentrate may be a obscure way of saying pellets, because the graphic kind of looked like pellets in a bag within that green plus icon on it. The plus icon on it kind of makes you think it's some sort of mineral or nutrient. But what it is, where you get it from, it's hard to say. I think Giants let slip during FarmCon that animals are going to be a little bit more realistic. They're going to be a little bit more involved. It was mentioned in a comment a little while back that they let slip that there was going to be breeds in FS22. They may have also let slip that there was going to be breeding. Maybe we're going to see calves, like baby animals. I don't know, right? We've seen from the icons that they've released that the animals, they have animal icons for horses, cows, sheep, chickens, and pigs. So we haven't seen a dog icon. Maybe dogs are gone. Maybe dogs don't count because they're not really animals in the game. They're just there. Kind of like birds. So we know that there's going to be the animals that we have now in FS19. We do not know at all if there's going to be new animals other than the wild deer. So some people have been hopeful for things like ducks and goats. I think alpacas would be awesome because it gives you another source of wool, or basically, you know, animal hair that can be made into a fabric, since we do have production. I mean, we really don't have a lot to know, other than just gross guessing that the things are going to be different. I think we're going to have a lot more choices with respect to placeables and animal placeable pens, animal pastures, things like that, which look cool because we're going to have a whole lot of additional placeable options in general. I hope we get a fact sheet drop around animals or a news drop around animals real soon. Let's hear what H&S thinks about animal speculations. I think the new cow models look really nice. I like those. Are we going to get new animal models for the other animals? I don't know. Are chickens going to spawn eggs in boxes, or are they going to spawn eggs on the ground you got to pick up again? It was like the great egg hunt. Every time you had to pick up eggs in FS17. Everybody remember that? And man, heaven forbid you have maps that that have grass in the chicken area. Oh, you can never find anything. Hopefully with the production, you'll be able to have milk sale options, so you won't have to transport your milk if you don't want to. I mean, I enjoy off of this map the Lily milk sale machine. So I don't have to haul a bunch of milk all the time. You know, there is a service fee to it, but I enjoy it. So, like with other production elements in 22, where you can choose to auto sell or transport, it'd be interesting to see if maybe they also did that kind of same thing with respect to animal products, like eggs and milk and wool. Even maybe instead of having to transport the wool to the spinnery or whatever makes the shirts, right, then maybe you could just tell the wool center or your wool spawn point to auto transport. Yeah, make them come get it. Yeah, I remembered that as well, H&S, with the Felsburn Revisited. You know, that series is doing exactly what its job was, and reminded me a lot about base game 20 or base game 19. If you've not been following that series, for those that have not been following that series, that is where we play 0 mods on Felsburn, and we're doing a start from scratch with 0 mods. And I recently picked up some horses. And initially I was planting oats in my single field because I needed to keep the horses fed. And then I remembered that the base game basically puts 10 days worth of food in the trough. And of course, horses maximize their value after 10 days. So fill the trough up, and you don't have to fill it up anymore until you flip your horses. So yeah, 10 days is quite a long time. I mean, with seasonal cycles, 10 days is nearly an entire year. So I suspect the food trough values will be less than 10. If they're going to be set to 3, like seasons now, or if they're going to be set to some other value like 5 or 6, again, is complete unknown. But 10 days is a really long time. I mean, 10 game days could be a really long time, depending on your clock speed. I'd be willing to bet that a lot of players don't even put in 10 days on a map before they move on to the next. So I know I've sprayed the fields that have had crop already emerge. I didn't spray the grass field with weeds, for weeds. And I don't think I've sprayed the fields that are still planted. Yeah, I think he worked a lot on seasonal cycles. I mean, he was the presenter talking about seasonal cycles, right? And I think he was also referenced with respect to the build mode and the drawing of fences. So it seemed like that was a project that he worked on. And that same mechanic is used to draw out the olives and grapes. So we're not having to plant olives and grape vines or trees. I mean, one good thing, Genetic J, is we've seen that they do have single bins, and those bins require the use of an auger to fill. Now, if those bins will be single crop only or not, you know, to some degree, that can be a that can be up to the player, right? If they do allow multiple crops, you could still play as if they don't, and do a single bin per crop. But I think that was a big revelation for lots of folks, was the ability to use augers and single bins. Well, he's been he's been in with Giants since 2017. He was hired after the 2017 mod contest. So, you know, Farm Sim 17 came out in autumn of 2016. Giants had their FS17 mod contest that following summer, so July of 2017, and Seasons was a part of that mod contest. So he was hired sometime between then and winter of 2017. And one of his first projects was working on the contract system of FS19. So he's been with Giants for 3 years now. Going on, well, for 4 years now, since we're talking 2021. From what I understand, he did it on his side project. I don't know. I don't know the exact details, other than he basically had a release to work on Seasons 19. Yeah, how much of that was during the day and how much of that was off hours, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Genetic J, I agree. And I kind of think and speculate that that was maybe a reason, one of the reasons, ultimate reasons of this self-publishing. I have to think that Focus was a big pusher on the release date of 19. I feel that there was a lot in 19 that wasn't ready. So for example, a lot of the landscaping didn't come until a month, 6 weeks after the game released. Then we got a more full-featured landscape mode. So clearly it wasn't ready, right? We also in-game there is provisions for a manual gearbox in 19. It's not fully there, but there is some evidence of it being in there based on some XML values and possibly even some scripting. There's also evidence in the XMLs of base game equipment of DEF being a thing in 19. So if you look at if you export certain base equipment using the Giants editor, and you look at the XML values, there's XML values for def as a defined fill type in 19. It's not exposed to the player. You just fill up with fuel and you get both. But there's definitely unique defined fill types for certain vehicles in 19 for def. But it didn't make it to the player. So there's aspects in 19 that didn't make it, and I think it wasn't ready. I think Focus was a big pusher on you'll push it out however it is. I don't think Giants wanted to push it out. I think they probably wanted to delay it a bit, and maybe that was a big motivational factor for getting into the self-publishing, to be able to kind of kind of be the master of their own domain, right? They've said that they went self-publishing. One reason was to be able to respond to the player base's interests. So maybe there were things that they wanted to add, and Focus was adamant that no, that's not something that we want to be funding or something. Well, what game isn't a bug fest when it first launches? Right? I mean, we would like to see some level of, open testing. And we don't really know how much of that is done, and by whom, if it's done at all outside of Giants. But obviously, the more testers you have, the more things come up. But there's always situations, circumstances that creep in the code. I mean, it's like when they were talking about weeds in FS19, they were introducing the concept of weeds. They seemed to imply that you could spray herbicide on the weeds and they would die, almost like they would die over time. Well, what we got in the end result is this insta-death. As soon as the herbicide touches them, they turn brown. Maybe it was a failure in communication, or maybe it was something they were thinking to release and then didn't release. That way they couldn't get it to work the way they wanted it. Well, let's talk about the deer, right? So I got super excited to see the deer in 22's gameplay video. Well, there's a statue on Felsburn that has the deer in it, because deer were going to be a thing in 19. They just didn't make it. But wild animals in general, birds and deer, were talked about being a thing in 19 during development, and they just didn't come in. They didn't make it. But they made it into the statue that's downtown Bellsburn that has cows, sheep, pigs, deer, chickens, dogs, all the animals. Oh, lag. There we go. All right, so grass fields are weed free. Now we got these 2 fields to go, and then we're done weeding. Now, I mean, it almost looks like I've already done a weed pass here. But I got weeds over there. I don't know, it's taking it. I'm just going to spray it. Herbicide doesn't cost that much. I mean, they're making a lot of changes in 22. A lot under the hood with respect to the DX12 implementation. The parallax occlusion, the occlusion culling, texture streaming. Just to name a few visual enhancements. The addition of production is big. Oh, Thor, thank you for the gift of 50,000 points. Now HS can squander it away. Gambling is hard out. All right, stop this. Because... let's run the silage down to the BGA. It should be empty now. We get another $50,000 liters processing. Ah, let's carry again. Whole lot of road meeting today. You'll be a millionaire. millionaire with money that can't be spent. You know, all these perfect utopia videos of the future and movies about the future. Money is never anything, right? Money's not something that people have or people talk about. They just have stuff. I think it's the rich. It's the rich that are keeping us from our future that we all deserve. The wealthy don't want to give up their wealth. They know the future doesn't have wealth, so they want to keep us down. There we go. Make sure this is 50,000. Yep. There we are. I was watching Star Trek First Contact the other night. It was on YouTube. So I was watching it. And there's a scene where, you know, the chick that's up in the ship from the past basically asks how much the ship costs, and Picard's like, we don't have money. Where I come from, you just have things. You don't talk about how much it costs because the concept of money doesn't exist anymore. What's the Tuscanato? It's not this thing, is it? No, that's the killer. What's the Tuscanato? Or the Tucano? Oh, okay, a smaller class whale. You should have borrowed the equipment. You should have borrowed it as opposed to, Oh, okay. $875. It's still 12 meters. Oh, come on. That's still 12-meter header. I'm working on a video for Griffin. I think the title's going to be "What Have I Done?" or "Am I Crazy?" You'll see what I'm doing. You'll make what you're doing probably look like something that makes sense. Oh, you got a smaller header? It's all good. It'll just take time. What's it going to pay out? I mean, it should pay out good. And the extra crop you're going to get? That's going to be a bonus. Oh, well. Baling 20 acres of wood chips would be bad. Oh. Baling wood chips isn't bad. It's just a round baler. It's a whole lot of getting out and unloading. Stopping and unloading. $29.5. Okay, well, let's say I'm working a harvest contract that's going to pay me $38,000 plus whatever extra crop I get out of it. Actually, it's only going to pay me 30 grand after you factor in the borrowed equipment. But still, the extra crop that I should get off of that field is going to be, it's probably going to be an additional 30 grand of profit easy. So in the end, hopefully that one contract is going to bring me close to 60,000. But yeah, it's going to take a while. So yeah, that's going to be coming up. Not this coming week, but the following week. Because it's probably going to take all night for me to record that one video. I started this morning, then I realized I probably need to go to the store. It may have been a good idea to borrow the equipment and use both your equipment and the borrowed equipment, just to get it over with. Welcome back. Everyone should love their SSD. They make things so much easier. The weather was in our favor, wasn't it? And the grass. The grass was very favorable for us. I mean, that's the way cookie crumbled. We got out of that pickle. No spoilers. So we're outlining the field. That'll make it easier to fill in the gaps. But some of that was, I mean, some of those videos took a while to do. Oh, look at all those points. You gotta be a multi-millionaire to be in the top 10. I know. How did Will get up in there? I think he was big on the chat games. You're barely in the top 10 now. I don't even watch my own live streams. How's this possible? William Everyday, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it today, of all days. Well, Genetic, I know what would make me feel lucky. And that would be if there was a map dropped in my inbox. Right? That would make me feel lucky. How about you? I wish there was a color for weeded as opposed to just a color for weeds. You know? That would be nice to see a color for weeded. Well, that's funny, William, because that's exactly what we did earlier. We sold 500,000 liters of corn. Made a couple $100,000. Then we sold some compost. Took some compost down to make, or took some manure down to make some more compost. And now we're just spraying the rest of our fields for spring. Hawkeye, welcome. How you doing today? 61% done. Well, it's going to be well worth it. I'd be curious to know what your extra profit is off of the extra crop. I made a little more than that, but I suspect I had a lot more corn to sell. I mean, I was getting 67,000 per load. Let's see what Precision Farming says. I love that. Look at that. We made $110,000 off of this field since we've started on this map because I haven't reset. Made 88,000 off of that field. How is that possible? They're the same. They're nearly the same size. All right, William, every day. Enjoy your soccer game. Barley on hard. That pays out pretty good. If you can, keep the barley around till winter. I mean, look here, barley. Barley's at 451 right now, a little bit lower than wheat, but still pretty good. I don't know why, but I never really bothered with merging fields. I know the first thing others would do would have been to merge these two together, but I don't know, that's just me. Well, let's go see. Let's go see where Mr. Carey might be. There we go. Wow, they're real bad on this map because the guardrails are right up against the side of the road. And then next thing you know, you're like, you're in them. You can't do anything about it. In a multiplayer, you get a little bit of lag, and you're like, oh no, this is no good. Well, I couldn't grab the truck. I had to grab the trailer. Well, Aaron, that is definitely a byproduct of merging fields, right? Merged fields, you have bigger fields, and you feel that you need bigger equipment to get the job done. I mean, ultimately, you can use any size equipment on any field, in theory. It's all down to how long you want to work it. Right? If you want to be working the field for as little time as possible, then yeah, bigger equipment for a bigger field. As HS is working, yeah, if you're willing to put in some time, then you can pretty much harvest any field with any size harvester. It's just how much time you're willing to put into it. It's like, I got this sprayer at this size because I felt that it was big enough to get the job done, but not so big that it was challenging on some of my smaller fields. But sure, there's bigger stuff that would work on more open areas like this. But that would be a challenge when we got into some of the smaller areas. Let's see here. So I've already sprayed this. Yep, this should be the last bit that we need to do. And that is where we're going to say goodbye for tonight, today, tomorrow, next week. We'll be streaming again on Monday night. On a modded ATS. We're going to be using the beta 1.42, where they now allow mods for convoy mode. So we'll be doing that again on Monday night. Hope you all can come back and enjoy those antics, because it is mayhem for sure. Keep an eye out for any live streams maybe later this week. We're not going to be streaming on Susquehanna until it's back in springtime, but we might find ourselves over on the community multiplayer server, which currently is on Italia Light. That is that amazing Italian map. Or if a map happens to land in my inbox that I've been waiting so patiently for I don't know, maybe about many years, then we might be doing some live stream map testing for a pre-released map coming up. But no promises on when that might be. If you're interested in being a farm hand, farm boss, or farm baron, take a look at the join button down below the video. If you're on an Apple device, you might not see it. You'll have to go back and check on a computer, because Apple wants to take your money for its own regard, and therefore you can't join on on mobile devices on Apple for whatever reason. And until next time, happy farming.